Hey, how's it going, fight fans? Welcome to Mindful Combat. If you're new to the channel, my name's Rohan, and this is my platform where I do fight sports related content. If you're new here, why don't you help me grow my platform? All you have to do is like the video, subscribe to the channel, and maybe hit that bell icon so you get notified every time I upload a video. With that said, I'm carrying on with my series in this video and looking at just who are the biggest threats to Israel Adesanya and his championship reign. Now, Israel Adesanya has had a meteoric rise through the UFC. Since he debuted just a little over two and a bit years ago, he has looked absolutely exceptional. He has taken out everyone that's been put in front of him, won a world championship, and now defended it against a middleweight division's boogeyman in a sense. What's interesting about Israel Adesanya is that he still remains undefeated, 19-0 with 14 KOs. He's still a young man, only 30 years old, and he stands at 6'4" with an 80-inch reach. Those stats make it sound almost as though he is big enough to be a light heavyweight, and yes, that is true, but I would say his frame is very skinny, so he would need some time to put on the muscle to go up there and finalize his beef with John Jones, and that's very interesting. But at middleweight, he has some very prolific challenges waiting for him to cement his place in the division's history. What's interesting about Israel Adesanya as well is that at this stage, whilst he's been in there with all types of fighter, I don't believe that he has felt, truly the best strikers in the division. I feel like Robert Whittaker could have given him that challenge, but Robert Whittaker just didn't get off that night, and Israel Adesanya looked exceptional. But there are some truly talented fighters in the middleweight division just waiting to show Israel Adesanya what they have to show. Without further ado, let's get into this. Now, first person that jumps out to me is Darren Till. Now, Darren Till is still only 27 years old, stands at 6'1" with a 74.5-inch reach, and he probably always should have been 185. I believe at 170 he was very diminished, cutting a lot of weight, and that of course impacts his chin. It impacts his chin and his ability to take a shot. Of course that is going to make a difference, and then that's what you started to see when he got dropped by Tyron Woodley and he got finished by Jorge Masvidal. What's interesting is that I think that in a rematch with Masvidal he will beat him if you looked at how the fight went, but let's not deviate too much. Darren Till made his debut at 185, taking on Kelvin Gastelum on a 2-fight losing streak. Kelvin Gastelum was just removed from giving Israel Adesanya the fight of his career in what was arguably a fight of the year fight between them both. What's interesting is that Darren Till came up, and just as I predicted, if you guys have been following my channel, Darren Till won that fight. Darren Till looked, he looked good. He got a lot of flack for that performance. A lot of people said it was a dull performance. But in my opinion, he went in there against a fighter who had just fought the world champion, gave the world champion hell. He was expected to get knocked out in that fight. He won. Well, that's a victory. You can't expect him to lose, and yet when he wins and say it's not a good performance, it was a good performance in my opinion. And he showed just how good he is at 185 by taking out Kelvin Gastelum. His professional record still stands at 18 wins, 2 losses and 1 draw. Now that's a very experienced record for a very young man who's had a world championship fight and had the ups and downs and the opportunities to learn. He's a talented striker, undefeated in Muay Thai with a 46-0 record. And the stylistic matchup of Israel Adesanya is a very appealing one to me. This is a fight that will be fought very much as a Muay Thai fight, and that's so exciting to me. I feel like Darren Till would have great skills to utilise in the fight against Israel Adesanya, and I believe that it may even benefit him to get that fight with Israel Adesanya, and I believe that would be where we see the best version of Darren Till, as opposed to him having to fight loads and loads of fights to come up. I think there's tougher fights in the middleweight division than Israel Adesanya for Darren Till, just because of stylistic matchups, and I'm very excited to see what's next for Darren Till. So definitely, without a doubt, one of the biggest threats to Israel Adesanya is Darren Till. Moving on, we got none other than the killer gorilla, Jared Cannonier. Jared Cannonier is already 36-0. He stands at 5'11" with a 77.5-inch reach, and he's got a professional mixed martial arts record of 13 wins and 4 losses. Jared Cannonier has got 8 of those wins by way of knockout, and he's 3-0 as a middleweight. Each of those wins have come by knockout, and he's beaten some really talented fighters. David Branch, a guy who I respect a hell of a lot. The legendary and great Anderson Silva, and he of course took out Jack Hermansson in his hometown in what was meant to be Jack Hermansson's staple fight after he just beat Jacare Souza. Jared Cannonier is a very dangerous fighter, and he hits very hard, and that makes him a very dangerous stylistic threat to Israel Adesanya, especially as Adesanya will want to strike with Jared Cannonier, and Jared Cannonier will love that stylistic matchup. He'll be trying to put those big old, wrecking machine of hands on Israel Adesanya's dome and trying to put him out, and I believe he has the skills and power to be able to do that. I believe Jared Cannonier can take out any man with those strikes. He's so dangerous, so powerful, such a prolific finisher, and the stylistic matchup of him and Israel Adesanya is a great one for him. Don't forget, although Israel Adesanya may have a lot of height and reach on him, Jared Cannonier has fought at heavyweight and light heavyweight. He's fought big guys. Now, of course, I would pick Israel Adesanya in that fight because Adesanya is the more polished striker, and I believe that he could utilize his distance, his range, and his skill set to get the win. But Jared Cannonier could win that fight within a blink of an eye, at any point in that fight. That is an exceptionally good fight and a really good stylistic matchup for Jared Cannonier. At number 1, we've got an obvious choice, which is Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa is a 28-year-old who's 6'1" with a 72-inch reach, has a 13-0 professional mixed martial arts record, 11 wins by KO, and is 5-0 in the UFC. Paulo Costa has, of course, looked very, very good in the UFC, and he's a guy who loves to come forward and has a lot of beef with Israel Adesanya, and that's what makes it very, very interesting. In his last performance, he took on Yoel Romero and had a war with Yoel Romero, and that was prior to Yoel Romero going and fighting Israel Adesanya in a fight where a lot of people thought Yoel Romero won that fight. Of course, a lot of people thought Yoel Romero beat Paulo Costa, but that's besides the point. Paulo Costa is a very dangerous fighter. He's very young, carries a lot of power, and he's improving at a rapid rate. He loves to walk fighters down, and that does of course help Adesanya, being that he's a counter striker, but I also believe Paulo Costa could make it very messy because he wouldn't give him the chance to try and cruise to a victory. He doesn't give his opponents that opportunity. They have to fight him. And Paulo Costa is a guy with big wrecking machine power. He connects and he hits hard. He's very confident in himself. He's learning the game. He's getting more well-rounded every fight. He's of course got a good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu pedigree, but where he shines is in his stand-up and his ability to finish fights within the blink of an eye. Paulo Costa is a very, very dangerous fighter, and is a fighter that I wouldn't be surprised to see knock out Israel Adesanya. Now, Israel Adesanya is a very talented fighter, but this right here is the top fight the middleweight division can make right now, and in a lot of ways this is what was historically considered a super fight. You know, two guys that are just seemingly unstoppable colliding to determine just who is number one in the weight class. That's what we need. Paulo Costa is, in my opinion, the number one threat to Israel Adesanya. Anyways, fight fans, why don't you guys tell me what you thought about my picks for Israel Adesanya's biggest threats? Let me know who you think are the biggest threats to Israel Adesanya. Let me know if you liked the video, and I hope you guys are staying safe, staying quarantined, staying indoors. And if you ever need anything or ever need anyone to talk to, remember to hit me up. Thank you for watching, guys. I'm Rohan, and as always, this is Mindful Combat.